I'm going to listen to Graffiti Bridge by Prince. This album was released in 1990. It has 17 songs and it's about an hour and 18 minutes. This is another album. I have no idea what I'm getting into, but because this came out so close to the last two projects that I listened to, I expect some similarities. Now, this album does have a movie that accompanies it, so I am gonna plan to either watch that tonight or tomorrow, but I'll come back later at another time and give my thoughts. I listened and I watched Graffiti Bridge. When I first listened to Graffiti Bridge, I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm not listening good enough. Like maybe I'm not giving it enough attention. So I went back and I listened to it again intently, and I didn't save any of the songs from this album. I did not like it. Then I thought to myself, well, maybe if I watch the movie that comes along with this album, maybe I'll have a different appreciation for the songs. Because sometimes when artists perform songs live and you get to see the emotion and the whole picture being put together, maybe you can form a connection that way. So I thought that. But when I watched the movie, it did not happen that way at all. I thought when I watched the movie, like, well, maybe I didn't pay attention enough in Purple Rain. Like, maybe it's something that I'm missing from Purple Rain to kind of bring this movie back together. But it wasn't. So directly after I watched Graffiti Bridge, I went and watched Purple Rain just to make sure I wasn't missing any context. And just in case, I'm going to give like a quick summary of Purple Rain. So in Purple Rain, they're following this woman who is on a quest to become an artist slash singer dancer. And she comes across two men. One is Prince or the Kid and Morris Day slash Jerome. And Morris is supposed to be like this bad guy who is like woman crazy. He's going after the women. And he's the cool guy. He's trying to get the Kid fired from the club so he can get more attention and thus launch his career. The Kid is an artist who is really self-absorbed. He doesn't like his own band members' music. He only makes them play his music, and he comes from an abusive household, so his dad and mom fight a lot. And he witnesses that, and he basically submerges himself in the music because of that. So Apollonia, the woman who is looking to be an artist, she goes to the club and she befriends the Kid and Morris actually, but she took more of a liking to the Kid. He ends up DVing her on multiple occasions, and she ends up in a group called Apollonia 6, which is a great group, by the way, and they were created essentially to help push Kid out of the way. But the last night of the performance, Kid ends up singing this powerhouse of a song, Purple Rain, and all is well in the land, right? So when Graffiti Bridge opens up, it does open up, kind of laying the scene of Morris being a character again. We do see the Kid, he's still performing, but this time instead of fighting for stage time, they're fighting for a whole club. No Apollonia 6 period in the movie, and I assume that's because they disbanded, but I'm not sure. But they have another woman in the film, and she's like this angelic figurine who writes poetry, and she falls in love with the Kid, tells him to keep pressing on and never give up, yada, yada, yada. She ends up at the end of the film, I don't know if she's like some kind of supernatural being or whatever. It was just really weird. But for me, all the songs felt like they were, this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it in a negative way. It sounded like most of the songs were from like other projects that he combined and put other people on them, if that makes sense. Like they didn't sound like, in my opinion, they didn't sound like they were made for this film. Because I was so perplexed by this movie, I went and kind of looked up like some of the origins. And Terry Lewis was reportedly saying that they made the movie so that they could introduce The Time, which was a musical group, to the world. And that's fine. But if you have a project or a movie that you're doing, to me, in my opinion, the movie should be able to stand on its own, and then the album should be able to stand on its own. Together, they should make a beautiful masterpiece. So it's okay to me that you have a movie as a visual, but that movie should have a solid plot, solid characters, and a clear goal. This movie did have some of those things. It's just that they didn't have all those things, and all those things didn't fit together. So, nevertheless, I'm going to stop my consummation or me consuming Prince projects at this point, because I think I am committed at this point that I want to do I Want to Be Your Lover, Raspberry Beret, and Scandalous. I do feel like Prince is entering a new era at this point, mainly because of how he has been styling his hair. First, I noticed that in Batman, and then in this film, he's rocking like a natural suppress, and also how he is dressing in these films, very more casual than his romantic, kind of dramatic way. So I'm gonna stop here because I can already feel like I'm entering a new era. Um, so yeah, did not like the album, did not like the film, but it's got to be for somebody. Somebody out there likes it. So yeah, that's the final listen. I'm gonna start planning my projects. I think I kind of want them to be connected in some way. I just have to find the through line and where it makes sense for me. So stay tuned for that, and I think that's all I got. All right, till next time. Bye.